Hi everyone! From birds that would kill you with a single kick to stalkers that will harass you all the way home, here are the 10 most dangerous birds on Earth. Great Horned Owl. Owls are some of the most mysterious feathered animals in the world. They're comical, they are sometimes adorable, and they do that weird swivel thing with their head that chills the blood. But owls are also fierce and vicious, specifically the great horned owl. And yes, these owls attack people. The most common time a great horned owl is going to attack a person is when they are defending their young. This can happen when an unsuspecting jogger or hiker comes too close for the owl's comfort. If the owl feels in danger, it will strike. Luckily, there are almost no deaths that occur from owl attacks, but the attacks still happen. Owls much prefer to hunt small rodents and other small birds than attack humans, and so you should keep your dogs and cats close if you live in a wooded area that has a lot of great horned owls. This horned owl's strong claws require a force of 28 pounds, 13 kilograms, to open. Owls use their deadly grip to slice the spine of their prey. It's terrifying. They have been known to steal small dogs, and they have a clutch force of about 500 psi with their talons. This is a great enough force to disfigure, to blind, and definitely to fly away with your chihuahua. Most owls are stronger than most hawks, which is not something everybody knows. Australian Magpie. The Australian magpie is famous for being the most bothersome bird in the country. They are infamous for attacking cyclists, for swooping at people who happen to be walking too close to where they place their nest, and for being generally annoying. People typically refer to the Australian magpie as the most psychotic bird on Earth. It does not have sharp talons that could kill a person, and it doesn't have enough brass to poke you in the eye with its beak, but it is still extremely dangerous. Magpies are dangerous because of what happens when an annoying bird begins flapping around your head. They can cause cyclists to get into accidents, they can cause people to lose control of their bicycle and throw them into traffic, or they can cause you to fall and hurt yourself. What's interesting is the extremes people have gone through to keep magpies away from them. Some people wear wide-brimmed hats, while others carry umbrellas, and when it comes to cyclists, some people have installed spikes on their helmets to try and keep the lunatic magpies away from them. Although some people think they are very attractive birds and very often make friends with whoever provides them with food, relationships can go in the opposite direction. One man claimed that for 25 years he had been attacked by the same magpie. It's too long to have an enemy of this level. Have you ever been attacked by a magpie? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Lammergeier. This is the lammergeier, also known as the bearded vulture. Not only does this bird look dangerous and vile, but it absolutely is. This is the scariest looking bird flying through the skies today. It looks like a prehistoric eagle. The bearded vulture has a wingspan of roughly 10 feet, 3 meters. It lives in mountainous regions from Central Asia to Spain, and it eats mainly carrion. In fact, the bearded vulture loves scavenging. A huge portion of its diet is marrow, about 90% of it. The classic trait of the bearded vulture is to pick up bones, turtles, and other hard meals and drop them from high in the sky, breaking them open on rocks so that they can get at the marrow. And this is where they end up being dangerous. The bird may not attack you itself, despite its terrifying appearance, but it could drop a tortoise on you from 260 feet in the sky. And you can bet that is going to leave a pretty nasty bruise. This is especially true if you happen to be bald and the vulture mistakes your head for a rock. RedTailed Hawk. The red-tailed hawk is a relatively common bird found widely distributed across North America. They weigh very little for such large birds, only between 2 and 4 pounds, with a wingspan that can be up to 56 inches, 140 centimeters. Unlike other birds that fly around looking for prey, the red-tailed hawk generally hunts from a perch. This means it sits somewhere and watches for its next meal, then swoops down to take it. This hawk can see 8 times better than you, and it can see color in the ultraviolet range. It basically has a cyborg's eyes. Fortunately, this popular hawk is not the most dangerous bird in the world, unless perhaps you get between it and its food. The people most at risk from these hawks are their trainers, as a red-tailed hawk has a grip strength of about 200 psi. That's 4 times what your grip strength is, and very close to the bite of a big dog. This is why trainers wear big, heavy-duty gloves when dealing with red-tailed hawks. White swan. Swans are incredibly dangerous animals. These birds are big, weighing up to nearly 30 pounds, and they have a surprising amount of power. However, these birds do not generally kill human beings. You are more likely to suffer a swan attacking your dog or child than attacking you. The males are fierce in defense of their nests, especially during the spring nesting season from April to June, and this is something you always need to keep in mind when visiting any public park with swans. These birds are huge and can be seriously bad-tempered. Take the case of a 37-year-old man who was murdered by a swan back in 2012 outside of Chicago. According to the BBC, the man was tending to the birds when one of the swans charged his small boat, capsized it, and inadvertently caused the man to drown. Eyewitnesses told the investigators that the swan actively hindered the man from reaching safety and watched sadistically as he drowned. So, you tell me, are swans dangerous evil villains or innocent bystanders? Crowned eagle. Did you know that primitive humanity was on the menu of the crowned eagles? According to CBS News, there is an extremely ancient fossil of a primitive human child who appears to have died when attacked by a crowned eagle. There are markings around the eye sockets of the ancient skull that suggest an eagle got a hold of it and ate it for dinner. Eagles are the most majestic birds in the world, and while most North Americans are familiar with the symbolic bald eagle, there are dozens of different types of eagles all over the world. Today, we are talking about the crowned eagle, which is often referred to as the leopard of the air. These birds come from Africa, and they are one of the deadliest species of eagle in existence. In terms of this incredible bird's diet, it eats about 90% of mammals. That means only 10% of its diet is made up of something other than monkeys and deer. There are even rumors that children's skulls have been found in the nests of crowned eagles, kinda like how in North America we often find dog collars and cat collars in abandoned eagle nests. Well, I'll just say that if we ever got her in front of us, we'd better run. Emu. The emu is not the most dangerous flightless bird, it is not the heaviest, and it is not the tallest. However, the emu is the ugliest. There is nothing more unnerving than looking into the beady orange eyes of an ornery emu, and while they are the least threatening of the three giant flightless birds on Earth, emus are still pretty dangerous. They can run at about 30 miles, 50 kilometers per hour, and kick with massive feet that can do some serious damage to a human being, especially if one of their claws digs into your belly. Emus are capable of basically dissecting animals without any effort. Human fatalities via emus are indeed extremely rare, but emu attacks are not. These annoying birds are so cranky they will attack anyone, and who can blame them? Most emus are taller than most humans, and the common emu is the only survivor of several different emu species, all of which were exterminated by settlers hundreds of years ago. If humans wiped out your ancestors, you would be cranky too. Ostrich. There is almost nothing more terrifying in the world than a rampaging ostrich. If you thought a cassowary or an emu was big, ostriches can grow to be 9 feet, 3 meters tall, and over 300 pounds, 140 kilograms. Imagine the strongest person you know with a bad attitude, then add an extra 2 feet and a beak that could rip your face off. Now imagine that same person can run 43 miles an hour, 70 kilometers an hour. That's an ostrich. The ostrich is not an animal you want to mess with. They are incredibly territorial when defending their young, and they are even strong enough to kill a lion. While the lion may be the king of the jungle, it wouldn't stand much of a chance against a rampaging ostrich kicking it square in the face. A fun bit of trivia for you, the famous singer Johnny Cash actually used to own an ostrich of particularly bad temperament, and according to Cash, he once got in a scuffle with the ostrich, which kicked him in the abdomen. If it weren't for the ostrich's claw getting caught on Cash's belt buckle, he likely would have died, and that would have been a tragic way to go. Giant petrel. Forget about sharks and tigers, these birds are straight up savages. One of the last birds you ever want to be attacked by is a giant petrel, and despite this bird's absolute ferocity, you probably had no idea it even existed. These are serious killers, and there are 2 different species of giant petrel competing to be the most feared bird of Antarctica. You have the northern giant petrel and the southern giant petrel, and even though they are different species, they are both horrific murderers, and they both like to prey on the animals in Antarctica in the winter. For these birds to have survived for so long, they developed an incredibly aggressive style of feeding that makes them unbelievably dangerous. These are not only relentless scavengers, but they will kill other birds like albatrosses. They will eat penguins, snatch baby animals, and fly off with them, and there is even some pretty disturbing footage of a nasty giant petrel sticking its whole head through a sea lion's eye socket to get at its brain. That is some seriously nasty stuff. You can recognize these birds as they always appear to be drenched in blood from the tip of their beak down to the front of their whole body. They really look like something out of a horror movie, of course being the murderer. Cassowary. This is probably the one you have all been waiting for. The cassowary has long been crowned the most dangerous bird in the entire world. In fact, as recently as April of 2019, a man was attacked in Florida and later died in a hospital from serious injuries because of a cranky cassowary. This is according to Guinness World Records, and they are no stranger to the deadliest animals in the world. And while we're talking about Florida, you may be surprised to know that cassowaries are listed as Class 2 wildlife, which is in the same category as alligators and some wild cats. That's how dangerous these monstrous birds are. There are 3 different species of cassowary, and all of them are native to the tropical forests of Australia and Southeast Asia. Regardless of the exact breed of cassowary, you can bet the bird is going to be huge. They have a maximum height of nearly 7 feet, 2 meters, and can weigh up to 130 pounds, 59 kilograms. But what makes them so dangerous is their muscular legs and incredibly sharp claws. A single cassowary foot can send you straight to the hospital with a bad case of death. Thanks for watching. Which of these dangerous birds terrified you the most? Tell me in the comments below, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.